Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you. Thank you so much for joining us again. And thank you for all you do by the way of service and learning and growing. Our presentation today is entitled The Lost Word. And we'll put up an image to give a sense of this topic. You'll see before you now a work by the celebrated Rosicrucian artist, Nicomedes Gomez. It's entitled Cosmic Energy. It was on the front cover of the Rosicrucian Digest in July 1968. Now, by way of introduction on our topic, The Lost Word, the AMORC book, The Sanctuary of Self by Past Imperator Ralph M. has a chapter entitled The Lost Word. Indeed, an intriguing topic for the student of life and mysticism is the meaning and recovery of the lost word. One of the great benefits of the weekly Rosicrucian studies, exercises, and applications is the growing awareness of the lost word and the increasing capacity to play the cosmic keyboard. This word is associated with the great undulating energy that continues to reverberate throughout the universe and through which all exists. Various cultures of the world have wisdom teachings on this very topic for our maturation and evolvement. Now, in relation to this topic and the image we have before us to help us inspire us for our meditation, you notice the dynamic energy. There's the letters, the A, the V, and the M. The V in the old Roman style is for the U. So we have Aum, and it's one of the sacred vowel sounds. Some of the mantras that are in the tradition of the Rosicrucians that we learn in our weekly lessons. Very closely related vowel sound is Om, also Amen. I'll actually give you two chapters from the book Master of the Rose Cross. There are articles by Past Imperator H. Spencer Lewis on these particular vowel sounds that are quite enlightening and inspiring. You'll see with the vowel sound, there's a dynamic energy is created. It ties in with the cosmos. It resonates deeply with higher and higher octaves of the cosmic keyboard, just as one note matches up with the same corresponding note as we move up, doubling and doubling up cosmic keyboard. The Rosicrucians have this great keyboard, drive this great keyboard that we learn to be master pianists of and growing and maturing in life. You'll see the dynamic flame here. All these things have a close relationship to our topic, the lost word, which we'll elaborate more on as we move through the presentation. To give you a little more sense of this, I'm going to move in a little closer on the work of art here. And music is down through the ages. It's been an important tool, instrument, and metaphor for the vibrations, the sea of vibrations that we exist and manifest on. And we know in more recent years in physics has developed further and further that all manifests through vibration. And vibration is characterized by geometry and number. In this sense, we know that all manifests through number in the ancient Pythagorean and other ancient traditions that parallel the Pythagoreans. So at this time, we're going to prepare for our meditation period. And we'll apply the vowel sound Om. In fact, we'll use a recording that was done from the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid of Cheops or Khufu on the Giza Plateau in Egypt. There's a beloved Rosicrucian, Edward Lee, who was at a time earlier the director of the Department of Instruction at Rosicrucian Park, San Jose, California, and also the Grand Chaplain and other important roles for the Rosicrucian order. He will be the one doing the chanting during our meditation period. I invite you at this time, having taken in this inspiring image and Nicomedes Gomez, and we attune with his cosmic experience and enter into our own through it. And inspired by the concept of the lost word and the special powerful mantras or vowel sounds, let's turn inward and close our eyes. Just get comfortable however we're situated, seated or lying down. And just let go of the cares of the day. Just follow the gentle rhythm of the breath. Either holding the inhalation or holding the exhalation. In a way, it's like being by a great lake shore, seashore, waves lapping in, all is vibration, including our very breath, our breath of life. Let's just enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath. And if it's comfortable for you, I invite you to breathe a little deeper than usual to take even more in the vitality of the air, the vital life force. And feel the invigorating effect. Also, if it's comfortable for you, I invite you to extend your exhalation longer than inhalation. You may wish to follow the musical ratio of the octave, 1 to 2, for every 1 unit of inhaling, 2 units of time and breathing out. So it's a doubling the length. With that extended exhalation, it's comfortable for you. You'll find immediately there's the relaxation response automatically occurring. We're stimulating the great vagus nerve that works with the autonomic nervous system. It's 2 polarities or poles, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system that we use to guide ourselves through life, just like the left and right handlebars of a bicycle. We steer down a street. Now, our theme of the lost word and an all-encompassing sacred vowel sound is associated with the development and appreciation of that lost word. Let's hear Om now. And inspired by the intonation of the vowel sound Om in the King's Chamber. Let us continue to attune with the cosmic, following the great movements of the breath. The spirit of various spiritual traditions in the world and their cosmologies by the word going forth, over the breath going forth, creating the cosmos and maintaining it. So too do we on the microscopic level, the macrocosmic level, mirroring the macrocosm. Just feel the enrichment, the ennoblement, the reverberating word. Soon we'll continue our meditation by following the instructions of the booklet, Liber 777, which will give you resources for towards the end of the presentation. Continue our meditation, begin our ascent to the heights of celestial sanctum. I invite you to say with me the following prayer and invocation. Continue to apply the power of the word. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body. And may I attune in pureness and in worthiness, the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. I invite you to imagine yourself, sense yourself through all your psychic faculties, your imaginative capacity, rising up from where you are, dwelling, you're situated, up over your home or office or building, up over your neighborhood, over your local geographic area or town or city, up over your county, now even your province or state, going faster and faster, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent. And over your great nation or country, continent, hemisphere, indeed the entire beautiful blue jewel of the earth, the temple of the earth, rotating about its axis. And we look up and see the great fiery ball of the sun as we rise higher and higher, faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light as we transcend space and time now. We move from the finite plane increasingly into the infinite plane past the solar system and the myriad stars and stellar phenomena, quasars and the pulsars and the black holes balancing the universe, past the nebula and the asteroids, great cosmic web connecting the stars and the galaxies. We sense even the great arm of the Milky Way galaxy where we dwell, and its entire structure rotating about a great black hole at its center. Let us pass right out from the Milky Way galaxy, look back at its wondrous structure, and then up towards the cosmos and see other galaxies and stars, see the great wonder of it all, and sense what the ancient mystics, philosophers have described from ancient time as the harmony of the spheres, the music of the spheres. Following the lost word, we rise higher and higher, feeling the exhilaration of the ascent, the full range of octaves on the cosmic keyboard. Keep rising higher and higher. Sense now the entire structure of the universe. The great cosmos means system and order from the Greek. You may even sense now that the universe is rotating about a great cosmic axis, just as the Earth rotates about its axis and our galaxy rotates about its axis. And our lives will rotate about the axis of the holy temple, our body, the spine. Let us move towards that great cosmic axis about which all is rotating about. A great harmony. Sense the presence of the midpoint of the cosmic axis and speed towards it. And when you reach it, slow up and dwell there in stillness and silence. Applying the law of cosmic attunement, the law of silence. Just take in the great awe and wonder of it all. Center of the cosmos, the center of our being. And continuing to follow the instructions of the booklet Liber 777, you may wish to visualize, picture, or sense there, imagine, fill in all the physical impressions, psychic impressions, and overall spiritual upliftment. Your sacred space, inspiring temple, maybe simply the inspiring temple of divine of the cosmos all about you. Our inspiring place back in nature as a sacred grove, inspiring vista from a mountaintop or hilltop, or expansive view over an ocean or a lake. Fill in the impressions of your personal sacred space, your celestial sanctum. Enjoy the exhilaration of the process, just as we are exhilarated and rising up to this high point of consciousness. I wish to picture inspiring murals or stained glass windows with Rosicrucian laws and principles. Incense wafting up, symbolizing the law of transmutation. We move higher and higher up the cosmic keyboard. I wish to picture others on this conference call with us and other seekers, even Grand Lodge and Supreme Grand Lodge officers of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC conducting a sacred convocation now. And so doing, we'll become even closer to them, their attunement with the cosmic, assisting our own attunement with the cosmic. Just keep filling in your impressions of your personal celestial sanctum. And when you're ready, release it. I wish to say with me, pleases the cosmic, it is done. And now let us dwell in silence, in cosmic attunement, all the more sensitive to all the vibrations of the cosmos, and indeed the lost word itself. Just feel all there is to feel. Feel all that can be felt. Meditation is a profound act of non-avoidance. Just be receptive to whatever there is to experience. This deep well of silence. This great elixir of life. Just be receptive. Let flow. Let go. Surrender to the divine within now. Now let us further intake a spiritual operation, the work and worship, the Rosicrucian order AMORC. I invite you now to join me as part of the Silent Council, in conjunction with the Council of Solace, the Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian order AMORC. Implicitly imply the lost word by radiating from the depths of our being through the assistance of the divine within that we're one with now. To all those who've petitioned the Grand Lodge for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those who petition the bodies, the Rosicrucian order AMORC, for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those you know are in need of guidance and healing. And finally, let us radiate love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Just let the flow of love and well-being come out from you like a great searchlight, implicitly through the vibrations of the lost word and the assistance of the divine within, reaching all in need, applying the law of impersonality, the law of service, the law of love, and the law of cosmic attunement now. Let the great flow continue. At a certain point, I think you'll no longer need to make any conscious effort. The divine within will take over as we increasingly identify with it and be it and know it as their birthright and true nature. At a certain point, I think you'll find that the love and well-being slowly speed up and you'll know you're reaching those in need. And when that occurs, surrender to the flow at one with the one now. Soon we'll formally close this period of sending metaphysical aid. You sense the wondrous tonic effect for yourself, the great healing, making whole for all those who've been directed to and for yourself. Through the law of karma, the law of cause and effect, as you give, so you shall receive. Formally close this period of sending love and well-being. I invite you to say with me, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. Now let us dwell a while longer at the heights of the celestial sanctum in cosmic attunement, under the vibrations of the lost word. And under the auspices of the Rose Croix. Feel the vibrations. Soon we'll begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Let us invoke another Rosicrucian law, that of the law of gratitude. I invite you this time you may wish to express your thanks to all those who have loved you well. All those who have taught you well. And all those who have sacrificed well on your behalf. And through the law of gratitude, we intensify the application of the law of cosmic attunement. And experience both in action. Now enriched and ennobled, experiencing the cosmic consciousness. I invite us to begin our descent, moving at tremendous speed, way beyond the speed of light as we transcend space and time. Past myriad stars and stellar phenomena and galaxies, past the great cosmic web connecting the galaxies and stars, the great beauty about all the wonders, music, the celestial spheres. Past nebula and galaxies, quasars and pulsars. and see in the distance the great spiraling arms of our local home, the Milky Way galaxy. And let us plunge into our local arm past myriad stars, nebula, comets, asteroids. So we work with both the infinite and finite plane. We see in the distance our solar system, the great fiery ball of the sun, our local star, the temple of the earth. So we come back to the hemisphere where we left off, a continent, a great nation or country, a province or state, or county, local geographic area, or town or city, a neighborhood where we left off. I invite you now to say one further prayer and invocation with me. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. As we continue our descent back onto the building, office, or home where we left off, back into the room and however we're situated, feeling reborn, remade, regenerated, reintegrated, re-energized, and rested. I invite you to stretch and ready to open your eyes and continue to apply the experience of the cosmic consciousness through all our forms of consciousness. When you're ready, you may just open your eyes. And thank you, everyone. Continue our presentation now on the lost word. And note how we've had an experience of the inspiring painting cosmic energy before us. Here we see a painting that's actually entitled "The Word Goes Forth" by Delacroix Roscoe. It's mineral pigments, sand, scallop, and oyster shell, white, gold, and wood panel, 30 by 45 inches, which itself implies a musical ratio and is inspired by Isaiah 55, verses 8 to 12. It's part of a series explores the idea that what is spoken into the world continues. It moves, it works, it transforms. We experience with the Edward Lee's chanting of the vowel sound Om. Various traditions of the world talk about the world being coming into form through vibration. In a way, we can think of that, for example, in the prologue of the Gospel of John 1 to 5, in the New Testament of the Bible. The Rosicrucians are not a religion, but each member can take up religion as they see what's right, especially in its deepest sense to mean to relink. Or if not, it's up to them. But whatever one sets one's eyes on or one's ears on, will have a deeper understanding through the Rosicrucian laws and principles. Here, for example, we see being of that profound sacred and mystical text. In the English on the left, the Greek in the center, and the Latin on the right. And you can see the way that the way it is spoken. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and God was the Word. He was in the beginning with God. There's a cadence and a proportion and ratio in which the words are stated, visually depicted here. It is vibrational in nature. You get that sense, the power of this, how we speak. It reminds me of the mystic, profoundly assisted in the work of the Martinist order, an esoteric order affiliated with the Rosicrucians. He mentions in his text, under his pen name, The Unknown Philosophy, and his over his incarnation in the 18th century, he unveiled more and more the teachings of the Elu Koan, the elect priests of the universe. They're then taken up in the traditional Martinist order. On that, let me mention one thing that this profound master said in regard to the word. When we penetrate to the very ground of our being, we find that we can unite ourselves by our word with the ineffable source of truth. You see unveiled in that is a very profound conception of what the word means in multiple senses, both in the physical sense, intellectual, emotional, psychic, and overall spiritual, mystical sense. Also mentioned in this regard, I'll show you another slide I've sometimes mentioned to you. The physicist Chladni in his experiments with the plate vibrating evenly spread particles such as salt or sand or sugar vibrated on a plate, could be of glass, could be of metal, with a violin bow. And that lo and behold, depending where one presses one's fingers and how one draws the violin bow down before one's very eyes, it's almost like the plate's alive with the particles. They form just different geometric patterns. The same too with our speech going forth, the vibrations that it makes, the geometry and shapes it takes. It's like we visualize from the heights of the celestial sanctum, we were sending out vibrations to help us attune with the cosmic and help manifest that period of meditation. In this regard too, I'll mention that there's an inspiring poem that appeared in the Mystic Triangle that I'll give you resources on. It's the forerunner of the Rosicrucian Digest. And the poem is as follows. And we can tear us way, take a symbolic aspect of this scientific experiment we see before us, the various shapes it takes. And this is a work by a person taking the symbolic name Midratrix. The lost word. I ventured on a search one day to find the long lost word. I knew 'twas all around me, in every sound I heard. I first seeking in the earth, in fissures large and small, in hidden vale on rocky heights, in the flow of waterfall. I listened to the singing birds and watched them flying high. I asked the lowing cattle when sometimes passing by. Hope thought perchance 'twas in the fire, and searched its rosy flame, but nothing could I find me there. 'Twas ever just the same. At last, I looked within myself and listened long and oft. At length, I heard a still small voice. At first, 'twas low and soft. Ere long, it gained such wondrous power, methought 'twas from above. But I found it nestling in my heart, that long lost word of. So we find there very beautifully expressed our mission and our quest in regard to the lost word. One of the wonderful things that happens through our passing through various stages or degrees and initiations of the Rosicrucian order AMORC is that we come into a greater appreciation of multiple senses of the meaning of the lost word, including the formation and pieces of the actual last word that is finally revealed to us. And then we come into and is intimated by that beautiful poem we just encountered. Encountering the lost word also has a great tonic effect, a healing effect, an elixir effect, spoken of the alchemists of the past, just like the holy quest for the Holy Grail, like unto the recovery of the lost word. Many of the things that seem impossible through the Rosicrucian studies become possible, including coming into a greater understanding of what the lost word is and how it's applied for our well-being and the healing and well-being of others. In this regard, I'll also give you in the resources an additional writing by Past Imperator Ralph M. on the lost word. And as part of that article, he mentions various traditions. We've been discussing the lost word. For example, he gives some quotes from the Zephyr Yerza in the Kabbalah, the Jewish wisdom tradition. For example, in chapter 1, section 8, we find the Spirit of the living God, praised and glorified, be the name of him who lives to all eternity. The articulate word of creative power, spirit and word, are what we call the Holy Spirit. And in chapter 2, section 6, he created a reality out of nothing, called the non-entity into existence, and hewed, as it were, colossal pillars from intangible air. He predetermined, and by speaking, created every creature and every word by one name. For an illustration may serve the 22 elementary substances of the primitive substance of the Aleph. We see there also a reference to the Hebrew alphabet and its letters and their evocative power and radiance and resonance. In this regard of exploring the lost word and matters closely associated with it, let us consider another cultural encounter. Friend and Rosicrucian student Nat and some others went to a concert recently entitled Ephemera, Corella in China. In fact, we'll see on the left here before us, Federico Pedrini. He was a priest, and active particularly during the first half of the 18th century. He traveled from Rome to Beijing, sometimes referred to as Peking. He was greatly sought after by the emperors there for his knowledge. And we think of him, he had association with various orders in the Roman Catholic tradition. In this regard, I think of our beloved friend, Stephen Armstrong, who is so knowledgeable in these matters and used to teach us in these barber instruction lessons here. And on the right, you'll see the Emperor Kangxi, who was a musician, a very accomplished person in various arts and sciences. And his court was very progressive, having arts and sciences for various lands around. And Pedrini was part of that. And as part of this concert I went to, there was a young person by the name of Louise Hung who played the harpsichord, along with her fellow musicians who played Baroque violin, the Baroque flute, the Baroque cello. And they were playing music associated with the celebrated religious artist Corelli, who is a student, who I should say a teacher of Federico, and we also heard the music of Federico. And it was quite striking that Louise, when she was a baby growing up in Taiwan, she had the Chinese connection. She heard dump trucks coming. And the way that they signaled that they were going to pick up your garbage is they would play the celebrated piece by Beethoven, um, Release. And that was her first profound contact with Western music. But then that planted a seed in her that she would grow and become a degree in mastery, studying at university, including the University of Toronto, music and music theory. And during the concert, as she played the harpsichord, which was a very special treat, she recounted the encounter of Pietrini and the emperor, see before us, and two other emperors. And strikingly, the emperor we see before us here in his court robe and with the dragon diagram, signifying that he's the pivot of the four quarters. The cosmic axis reveals about him, just like when we meditated. He's continually revealed to us. And it was one of those situations in life when, say, something very profound is happening. One needs to surrender the process and not analyze the way one was being carried forward and through the wisdom coming through Louise. And she made mention of I Ching, the classic of music, describes the 6 arts. There was one chapter on music was thought to have been lost during 247 to 210 BCE. And the emperor we see before us was keenly interested in the Westerners that were coming who had deep knowledge of music and music theory, because there was the concept that through Western music had a piece of the great puzzle that lost ancient science of music was like unto the lost word. And if you could regain that lost music in a certain profound note that was attempted to be chimed through great bells in ancient times, one would regain the celestial harmony in one's life. And through Confucian principles, all through music, through ritual, which would exemplify music, and the way that one would act, and the way that each person in society would act, would we all have a musical basis, following Confucian principles and that ancient book on music, if it was fully realized. And so, Drini from the West helped in this great project. And it was quite inspiring that this child that first contacted Western music would convey back to us deep aspects associated with the lost word. And she even mentioned in her descriptions that there are parallels with the Greco-Roman world. So true, especially through the Rosicrucian tradition. And it's been passed to it through the ages. In a certain way, I'd like to expand on this point Louise profoundly edified us on. And through these two inspiring figures, one a very learned religious figure, and the other a great emperor who's encompassing all the arts and sciences of the world. In that spirit, we'll see before us the continuation of the Chinese culture here. It's entitled Playing the Chin in a Secluded Valley. It's thought to date from around 1548 in the Common Era by a person that was described as an imitator, the renowned painter Wen Shengming. It's during the Ming Dynasty. It's a hanging scroll in ink and light color on paper. It's about just over 51 inches high and about 20 inches wide. And if you look very closely on it, you'll see that there's actually 2 persons in the painting, which we'll zoom in on now. You'll see here, you see the instrument of the chin there. And there's And the idea was that the playing of the instrument would attune the person with what Rosicrucian would say with the cosmic, with all the music embedded in all of creation. And similar in this regard, there's a very special inscription at the top of this work here, and also a statement. Inscribed in the painting, it reads in translation, 10,000 layered lofty mountains are presented to the cultivated eye. 1,000 feet of cascading falls cleanse the dusty heart. May the harmonies of my red stringed tune be the humble answer to the pined wind's ancient song. And further, in the inscription and translation mentions, playing the Ching in a secluded valley, myriad layers of tall peaks provide a feast to wise eyes. A waterfall dropping 10,000 feet can cleanse the dusty mind. By means of a song played on this red string Ching, 'tis my humble response to the primeval sound of the sighing pines in the summer, the 4th month, the Wuxian year, in the Jiang era, 1548. Jing Ming painted, and there's 2 seals accordingly. So you can see again this concept of the ancient science of music, like unto the lost word. And before we conclude today, I want to show another cultural manifestation that's highly related to the concept of the lost word and the celestial music. There was a very inspired producer by the name of Daniel Bertolini, along with his inspired co-worker, Jean-Paul Blondeau. And they created a series called The Legends of the Worlds about half a century ago. And when I was listening to it, I was always struck by the narrator who spoke with wisdom. They were speaking with the cosmic sense. They spoke with that great maturity that a human being can come into. And one particular legend of the world that they presented in film was entitled The Magic Harp, a story of Venezuela. And you'll see before us a boy who saved his family's livelihood and from going into destitution. His name was Felipe, and he undergoes a series, what we do say as Rosicrucians call, a degree of trials and tribulations and initiations. All the time, his family getting increasingly concerned that he's outway not helping them in their daily tasks and showing them so much interest in music. Here, as part of his undertaking, he's shown by a master teacher how to play a harp, and the master teacher also reconstructs an old harp that Felipe had found. And then one day, the rich landowner that Felipe's family had to pay rent and similar to had a great celebration, and there was a musical competition. The landowner's name was Don Vincente, and he was repossessing the home and cattle of Felipe's family. But intriguingly, another inspired figure comes forward, just like the master teacher of the harp, and speaks quite profoundly and challenging to Don Vincente about why doesn't he let Felipe play in the competition, and if he wins, his lands won't be repossessed, they'll be given back to him, and his cattle will come back to his family. And Don Vincente agrees and is surprised by this. And lo and behold, Felipe comes forward and surprises the artists and the presenters by his confidence. And he begins to sing. And they're taken aback. They've never heard anything like it before. And even though they know he lives nearby him, and you can imagine they say the following to the young child: "Who are you? Where have you come from? How do you know to address us and sing like this and speak of eternal matters and speak of the divine order of things and speak of the great responsibility to live in harmony with the land and live in service?" And his parents are in awe as well. You see them here. as Felipe plays. And as the story unfolds, he challenges the master musician of the hacienda, who tries to keep up with Felipe. And finally, he has to bow to him, lift his hat to him, and say, and recognize that Felipe has won the competition. And he speaks of eternity, and he speaks of things beyond time and space. And all are enriched and noble, just like our ascent into the heights of celestial sanctum. And we see here, Felipe is lifted up on the shoulders of a person, his harp picked up, and there's a great celebration. And he saved his family. And he's shown his mother that the deeper inspiring things of life are important as well as the day-to-day things in our life. And always remember that story. It's a very inspiring one. I'll give you a resource on it if you're so inclined. And finally, then, to wrap up on the lost word, I'll show you another inspired painting with a Rosicrucian painter, Nicomedes Gomez, Cosmic Keyboard. In a way, it's befitting on the topic of the lost word and how we recover the vibrations of the lost word. Indeed, the lost word is like unto the elixir of the alchemist, or indeed the creation of the gold by the alchemists. Indeed, the coming into and realization of the philosopher's stones of the alchemists. It's also like unto the word that went forth, or the breath that went forth to form and maintain creation and cosmos, and the key for harmony in all and the healing of all. And we have the great privilege through our demonstrated worthiness, the tomb of the cosmic, and following our weekly lessons, to recover the lost word step by step, letter by letter, and apply it for the well-being of all. At this time, I'll ask Karen to post in the chat for you the resources and also upload them as a PDF document. I think it's the latter, the PDF document, you'll find easiest to access. And by way of conclusion, then I'll say that we've been speaking about the lost word. And we followed in the AMORC book, Sanctuary of Self by Past Imperator Ralph M. the chapter, The Lost Word. Indeed, it's an intriguing topic for us as students of life and mysticism, what it means and its recovery. One of the great benefits of our Rosicrucian studies, exercise and applications, is the growing awareness of the lost word and the increased capacity to play the cosmic keyboard which is before us, within us. This word is associated with a great undulating energy that continues to reverberate throughout the universe and through all which exists. We've noted how various cultures of the world have wisdom teachings on this very topic, for our maturation, our great growing up and evolvement. In this way, we continue to explore Rosicrucian laws and principles and their creative expression and application for the mastery of life, harmonious living, and service. Thank you, everyone.